Okay, match number 1. We're on the draw. We only have one creature, but we have 2 pump spells and we can cycle this Tranquil Thicket, so I'm going to keep it. Expedition map. Looks like we're up against a Tron variant. We draw yet another pump spell. So we could have lethal on turn 3 if they can't find colored mana and thus interaction in time. Alright, so we have a couple options. We can play untapped land, Augur, hold open a pump spell. We can play untapped land, Ichor Mirror. Basically, we want to play whatever's going to let us win next turn. I'm going to start off with an attack and no land drop. So we need to hit for 9 next turn. We already have the 1 from the Glistener Elf, which means we need to hit for 8 more, which means we need to use 3 different pump spells. Alternatively, we could play this and then just use 2 pump spells. So the question is, do I want to develop the Augur this turn, or do I want to develop the Mirror? I think I'm going to develop the Mirror. I think this works out a little bit better for us if our opponent has removal on their main phase. Alright, now they have Tron. Let's see if they have colored mana to go along with that. Prophetic Prism is what we're scared of here. Chromatic Sphere, okay, that's a one-time mana source. Colored mana source. Looks like a Mulldrifter is going to come down. So if they decide to block, I do not have lethal here, since I can only pump for 7 and take them to 9 poison. However, now I do have lethal. Actually, no I don't, because I can only get one of them past the Mulldrifter, and then they can still block the other one. So what I'd like to do here is I would like to play Llanowar Augur. I'd like to leave open Apostle's Blessing, and I would like to save at least 1 pump spell for next turn. The question is whether or not I'm attacking with Glistener Elf. They'll most likely block the Elf if I attack with both, and then I have to commit a pump spell just to saving it. I believe the answer is that I'm going to attack with both. And the reason for that is if they choose not to block, I just win. Alright, so I can waste my Groundswell here so that there's no more blocker next turn. Play my Llanowar Augur. Then I have lethal again next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is exactly lethal, and I get to leave open Apostle's Blessing the whole time. I could have also played main phase Seal of Strength before combat, so that if they did block with the Mulldrifter, I could use the Seal of Strength instead of my +4/+4 ability to trade. But I think saving Seal of Strength is fine as well, since we still have lethal next turn through no disruption. Or through 1 removal spell, since Apostle's Blessing protects from that. Alright, there's the Firebolt. I'm going to go ahead and protect. Protection from red. And they can't quite flash that back, since they can only have 4 mana after filtering using Shimmering Grotto. You put an upkeep stop now. Alright, and they have another Firebolt. So now I'm 1 off lethal, but I have 2 draw steps to find it. So I'm going to start by cycling Tranquil Thicket so I know whether or not I want to sacrifice this. I most likely do. Alright, and I'm going to go for it. Well, they don't have any removal up, even though this is not lethal. Alrighty. 4, I could take them to 1, or I could develop the other Ichor Mirror this turn. And I'm going to choose to develop the other Ichor Mirror. Now, either one of them getting through plus Seal of Strength is lethal next turn, and I have the Apostle's Blessing to help with that. They could just flash back the 2 Firebolts this turn because they do have 10 mana in Tron lands alone and 2 filters. Chainer's Edict and probably Firebolt also being flashbacked. Yep, they wipe my board. And that's probably a good game, since now they have 1 Firebolt left and 1 Chainer's Edict left. And I don't have any way to have haste. However, if I could play 3 creatures in a turn, I might somehow be able to win. Alright, this is going to feature me F6ing a lot and getting 3 creatures in my hand. Alright, there's creature number 1. I guess I can go ahead and play that since it slows down the clock. Against the Seagate Oracle, and every turn matters. And if they waste a removal spell on it, I don't really care, since all I need is any creature plus Seal of Strength to win. Any Infect creature, that is. Alright. And they've got the clock on me. I can sacrifice the Llanowar Augur to gain 5 life against the Fangren. They activate their Haunted Fengraf to go get a Mulldrifter, play a Fangren. Luckily the life gain on the Fangren Marauder doesn't matter to this deck, but they've still got me beat anyway. Mulldrifter. I'm going to go ahead and chump block while they give me an opportunity to. And I draw a Rancor. Alright, I'm dead on board. Out of the sideboard, Gut Shot is not good against this deck. They don't have any 1 toughness things we care about. No Fog because they're not a fast deck like us. No Scattershot Archer since they don't have anything it kills, unless we have 2 of these against a single Mulldrifter. And the only question is what number of Gleeful Sabotage we want. Against Prophetic Prism, it can mess up their mana. Since we'll be on the play, we can also take out a turn 1 Expedition map with this. The question is, against the non-affinity deck, against just a Tron deck, which is what we're playing against, how useful are those artifacts to them, and is it better just to play a creature or a pump spell instead of a Gleeful Sabotage? So I think I'm going to go with a 50-50 approach. I'm going to cut the Rot Wolves because they're a little bit slow. If we're relying on those to kill, then we're probably not winning. We probably need to win with a 1 or a 2 drop. And we'll just bring in 2 Gleeful Sabotage. We don't really want to draw multiples. And we'll submit. Alright, on the play. Single land and no 1-drop Infect creature. No Glistener Elf. But we do have 3 total creatures, 2 pump spells, and a Gleeful Sabotage. So I'm going to keep this and really hope that we draw another Forest. Because otherwise our plan might just be to double Rancor our Llanowar Augur, and that's not a great plan. Especially since it doesn't infect, we'd have to do all normal damage after that point with only Llanowar Augurs that are pumped up. So yeah, we really need to draw a Forest. Okay, Chromatic Star. Alright, do we want to blow this up? Which one is this? This is the one that's separate. So the star, the sacrifice ability, and the put into a graveyard draw a card ability are separate. For the sphere, they're together. So if it was a sphere, I could blow it up and deny them the card draw. Since it's a star, they're going to get the card draw anyway. So I don't think it's worth it just to deny them of 1 bit of mana. Now the question is, which creature do I play first? Against the Seagate Oracle, Ichor Claw is better. Additionally, they could have removal as early as next turn, so I'd want to play this later when I have more mana up to actually regenerate. So I'll play this first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we don't quite have lethal next turn. If we drew Mutagenic Growth and they don't play a blocker or have any removal, then we could have lethal. Ancient Stirrings. They choose a Prismatic Lens. And they play a map. So they're going to have Tron next turn if they want it. Okay, yet another Rancor. That seems like fun. I should have put a stop on the upkeep here in case I wanted to think about using this ability now, but I think using it later is fine. Do I want to double Rancor this? Then if they have removal, have to resolve Blight Mamba on turn 4 and then kill on turn 5? Or do I just want to play Blight Mamba and hit them for 1 poison? I think playing Blight Mamba is the correct choice. Since I didn't use the Llanowar and Augur this turn, that means I want to use it next turn, which means I really want to have a creature survive their turn. I most likely should have put a stop on my upkeep and used it this turn and went ahead and cashed it in for 3 poison. Since I don't have any instant speed interaction to protect these if I use it on my upkeep and they bolt in response. But it looks like they don't have instant speed removal in this build, so it shouldn't matter. There's the prismatic lens we saw. They have Tron without even having to crack the map. So it's a good thing we didn't waste that turn gleeful sabotaging it. Chainer's Edict, okay. I think I need to get rid of this. This is only good for 1 damage, whereas the Llanowar Empath is good for 3. This is the only way I have lethal on my next turn, as my hand currently sits. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, that's still not lethal, is it? In any case, I think this is correct still. Alright, there's the mutagenic, and we win. Unless they have a way to interact with colorless mana only. Alrighty, there's a turn 4 win, and we get to sideboard again. But we aren't making any changes, so on to game 3. Okay. On the draw this time, which is obviously worse for us, 0 Infect creatures in hand. But we do have a lot of pump spells. I feel like against a deck with so many Firebolts, probably playing the full 4 Firebolts, the full 4 Chainer's Edict, and maybe the full 4 Seagate Oracle to block. I don't think we can keep a hand with no Infect creatures. I think we have to mulligan. Especially since we needed to draw a second land with that hand as well. This hand is much better. Alright, so at this hand we're going to go turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Ichor Claw. And the Lotus Petal's not really going to be that useful. We can play it out just to have vines available, I suppose. Tranquil Thicket, we don't need the mana, and I don't want to have to spend the time cycling it when I could just cycle it by putting it on the bottom, so I'm going to do that. Turn 1 Star. Take off my upkeep stop for now. I suppose I should have played Petal first in case of them having Gut Shot in their sideboard, but that's not very common for Tron, I don't believe. Stirrings, using the green mana from Star. Get themselves their second Tron piece, and play a second Star. Alright, Groundswell, so 4, 5, 6, 7. I can only hit for 7 this turn because I can't play all 3 of these cards. I could play the Vines, but I can't kick it and play these 2 cards this turn. So what do I want to use and what do I want to save? I think I want to use Rancor, play Ichor Claw, and save Vines in hand and Groundswell in hand. I'm going to get multiple creatures out in case they have a single removal spell but not 2. And then I should be able to kill next turn, hopefully. Drawing an untapped forest would be fine, and drawing a spell would be fine too. There's the Chainer's Edict. I'll get rid of the one that is not enchanted, so I don't have to pay the mana to re-enchant it. They play a map. crack the map to get a second tower, and now they're dead. We could do +2/+2 to get the total +4, or we could do vines. I don't think it matters either way. If they have gut shot, then I guess I want to do groundswell. So I can groundswell in response to the gut shot. And that should be lethal. Turn 3 through a single removal spell. Alright, we are 1-0 and we're on to the next match.